Absolutely. I'm going to leave there and just leave it. I'll shut it right now.
Says LinkedIn says you're not approved for LinkedIn Live. It's only available for limited group.
Okay.
That one.
Let me work on that one. Yeah, just delete it.
There you go. Looks like a DJ with the headphones set on.
I watched that series, Wu-Tang America. It's good. I'm not really a rap fan, but the story is a great story.
Okay. Awesome.
Are we like on camera right now? I'm just wondering.
Oh, we are? Okay. Do not pick your nose.
Exactly.
Pick your nose.
That's the downside to when someone's watching, right? You don't touch your face.
Yeah. Yeah, don't touch your face.
Don't touch your face. Are we up to 1,000 yet?
60 plus.
No.
Tune in worldwide.
Worldwide. That's right.
Yeah. Go ahead and plug it into MSNBC and Fox and whoever else wants to pick it up the feed.
All right, guys. Welcome to our first ever Facebook live stream. As we're adapting with the market here, today's topic we're going to talk about is surviving and thriving through COVID-19. And I tell you what, I'm super honored to be here with our guest panel today. I'm super honored for everyone that's tuned into our first ever streaming Facebook Live event. Looks like we're about 60 people and growing here because it's such a super important topic, right? But before we start, I do want to just give a huge shout out and thank you. I was watching the news today, and the effort and the hard work and the sacrifice that all of our medical professionals and just the scientists that are working around the clock to help everybody out to find a cure, to make sure people are getting healthy again. I want to make sure I take the time to say thank you to them, because you look at what they're going through. I don't know about you guys. I feel like we're super blessed to be in a real estate business, a mortgage business, if you will, that we can still help people out and not have to be sacrificed, have our lives on the line and that type of stuff. So thank you to them. I'm super honored to be here with Miss Tina Brickhouse from Keller Williams, Mr. Brian Schweiker from Remax Woodland Spring, and Mr. Ken Brand from Compass. I tell you, our guests today were carefully hand selected. So I have the utmost respect for everyone on this video call here. I tell you what, I've known Ken Brand for quite a long time. He informed me yesterday that he's been in real estate for about as long as I've been live. And Ken, you're a huge, you're somewhat of a legend in our area.
Don't tell him.
somewhat of a legend in our area. So I have the utmost respect for you. I've been watching you from afar for a long time. You've been through several of these markets as well too, and people look up to you, Ken. People I see around here, they do steal your Woodlands real estate market report quite often. That you do such a good job. Brian's raising his hand, so appreciate you being on. And Brian,
Thanks.
of course, I've known you for a shorter amount of time, but our relationship goes really deep. Ken Brand is a sales manager for Compass Real Estate here in the Woodlands. Brian Schweiker is producing. He's the one that called us actively producing and running an office. And me and him do a lot of coaching together. A lot of respect for you, Brian. And Miss Tina Brickhouse, you're the team leader for Keller Williams, and you're a woman of the people. You've been there before. You actually started out in a down market and done real estate, and now manage a lot of people and lead a lot of people. So, guys, first of all, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thank you.
Thank
Cool.
you. Appreciate it.
So let's kick this thing off real fast. I want to kind of
Thanks
go
for the
around
invitation.
horn and just jump into it real fast, right? So this is obviously kind of a game changer for our industry, and I'd like to hear from you guys. How are you feeling today about the real estate market and what we're going through? What's your gut feeling right now? And then kind of talk about a time in your career that you've gone maybe not through COVID-19, but through a down market, a down cycle, and that type of stuff. Ken, do you want to kick us off?
Yeah, I will say this, that while this is very unique and unusual, we've never experienced anything quite like this. But if you've been in Houston a while, you have endured, and we have endured multiple natural disasters with Hurricane Ike, Katrina, big floods, things like that. We've all endured personal challenges in our lives with family members, the loss of loved ones, and so on. And this is another example of a situation that's coming, that has come up unexpectedly, but we've done it before. So the key, and that's what we're going to be sharing here today, is really to be able to focus in on how to handle the situation ourselves, how to help other people. And the good thing is that we know that every second that goes by is a second we're getting closer to the Corona cloud break. And so we want to position ourselves for that. So we'll navigate our way through it, and we're going to share some great ideas here to help ourselves and help our friends and loved ones do the same thing.
Cool. Perfect. So as you're tuning in, I want to make sure.
What do you think, Tina?
Hold on real fast. I want to make sure you guys comment. I forgot to say this, Ken. Sorry, this is my first time. Okay. I want to make sure if you're tuning in, do write down your questions in the comments. We will be raffling off a $100 gift card from Tris, which is the #1 restaurant, in my opinion, in all of Houston. And they're doing carry out right now. So you do make a comment down below. We'll pick someone randomly from that, and it's a $100 gift card. So Ken, yeah, back to you, Tina.
Well, I actually started my real estate career in a down market. So I know what it's like to work really, really hard and feel like you're not seeing any kind of movement. I know what it's like to want to give up and quit, but I also know what it's like to put your head down and just grind it out. Because if you do that, what you will find is you will find success on the other side of it. And so that's what we're trying to relay to agents today, is just, keep moving. Don't let paralysis stop you in your tracks and prevent you from reaching your goals. So let's just keep moving. Let's keep going.
Cool. I think that's really cool. You actually started out in a market like this. Super cool. Brian, what about you?
Wow, I've been around a long time, and I've been in some really, really good markets, and I've been in some markets that were not so good. And I agree with Tina. You just have to be a grinder right now. You have to get back to the basics. You cannot get away from that. So the things that have made you successful or to where you are right now, you need to keep doing those things. You need to track those things and keep doing them. A lot of us have been doing this for a while. Leaning on our relationships is really huge. I mean, I feel super honored to be on this call with Ken and Tina, and of course Jason. When I met Jason about 5 years ago, he has really changed my life, not just business wise, business and in my personal life as well. So. Just being able to be together like this is awesome, Jason. Thanks so much for putting it together.
Yeah, cool. So as we go around the horn, the one thing that I heard from each one of you, I think that's kind of a prevailing theme here is mindset. As I listen to you and ask you how you're feeling about the market, have you been through it? We've obviously never been through this particular deal, but mindset. So Tina, you want to talk a little bit about just the aspect of a realtor, an agent in a market like we're heading into, right? And mindset.
Well, I think when it comes to mindset, I think our morning routines is really what is a predictor of our mindset for the day. And I think all of us kind of talked about before, we all are really early risers. I'm usually up by 5:30. My day consists of making sure that I meditate every day, read, learn something new, that I'm eating right, I'm exercising, and getting enough sleep. And I think those things kind of set us on the right path. But then when you start talking about mindset, like how do you handle uncertainty in your life? Like, where do you go to? And for me, when it comes to uncertainty, I go to mentors. I go to my coach. I go to people who can help me through these feelings of anxiousness. And meditation also helps with that. And I just think, mindset, like this is not the end of the world. We're going to get through this. But if we concentrate on just the bad right now, then that's all we're going to think about. Get off the TV, stop watching the TV, stop listening to all this all day. It's time to let's just put our heads down and go out and care about people. Let's go out and care about people around us and make a difference. We all can make a difference right now. And that's one of the things we should do. And in helping others and giving gratitude to others, that puts us in a place where we feel whole, where our minds are in a place where we can move forward. And I think that's where you kind of have to start.
That's great. I've heard that quite a bit. Just listening to different podcasts. People saying, "Hey, if you're feeling down in the dumps, the first way to get through it is to go help somebody." I think that's a great way to help it out. But Ken, tell me a little bit about mindset. Like, what should a realtor mindset be in this type of environment?
Yeah, I think Tina, you hit it right on the head. I think those things are great. I'll add a couple of things that I think would be useful. Is the days kind of blur together, right? You almost forget what day it is. Minutes blur together, hours blur together, and having a sense of structure. So you have to have the discipline, right, to create some structure for yourself. And this would be time blocking. We talk about this all the time in a normal busy day, but you want to reach out, as Tina was saying, to the people you know and touch base with them. And maybe you want to be working on your CRM or how you're going to stay in touch and the things that you couldn't get to because you were too busy before. And the way to do that is to time block maybe 45 minutes, put it on a schedule like an appointment so that you get it done and you're not running around with things blurred together, but also saying, I don't seem I can get things done. I never get them done. And you kind of get down on yourself. So I would do that. I think is important. Some structure, whether it's you're going to go walk, you're going to do the meditation, I'm going to prepare meals, I'm going to spend time with my kids, I'm going to make some phone calls and check in with my friends, I'm going to do the Zoom meetings. But you got to have some structure for that. And that'll give you a sense of control, which is what we all need right now because we feel like things are out of control. And then I'll give this little tip that I think will make a difference to you, is that every movie, every action movie that you see that's a blockbuster has a soundtrack in the back because it adds to the mood and the feeling of what's going on. And while you're in your day-to-day activities, I'm going to recommend to you to have some music playing in the back because it's a great mood enhancer and will keep you kind of chilled out and relaxed and feeling good. Jason, you're playing a little music when we came in. So music's very powerful. I would be listening to some music too while you're working. And then just also in the background, it'll really chill some things out.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
Great advice.
I like that. Brian, what about you? Talk to us a little bit about your mindset right now.
Yeah, my mindset is I am, control, right? I mean, you have to work on what you can control. So my biggest thing has been every day I get up. I try to stay with my routine with working out, and this workout group that I have, we're not meeting we're not meeting at all anymore. It's virtual. So it's been a little bit tougher, but trying to keep that morning routine for me has been important. The other thing, getting up and getting dressed, that's been a big thing. I've been on these Zoom calls with people. I've seen stuff on Facebook where a lot of people aren't getting up for their day. I think these men need to get up and shave and put their jacket on or get dressed with a long sleeve shirt and be ready to start making connections and make your phone calls. One good thing I think that's helped time blocking. We've done a lot of that, as Ken mentioned. The time blocking's been great for us. And one of the things also is continuing education, where sometimes we miss a little bit of time with that. But now every day I'm spending at least an hour a day on a podcast or listening to some of my core stuff. That's been a game changer for me. And then just the groups like this, learning off of each other. I know the program, Jason, you and I are in my office. We're extremely transparent. We talk about everything, even down to finances and things that we need to do. So I've tried to keep some things normal that way. I think that one good thing with my day personally is I've always had a start time, but I never had an end time, right? So for me, having the end time, it's been real impactful for my family life. So I've been getting home around 6 or 6:30, and then the phone's not ringing, right? I mean, like it used to be. I'm not answering all those emails and doing all that extra work. I've really seemed to pack it all into the day. So I hope to be able to carry that on as things break to maybe have an end time. We've always talked about having an end time. I have not been good with that in the past, and I hope that's a little nugget that I get to keep, and maybe we all could learn from.
I have such a tough time turning it off, Brian. I tell you what, I took notes on that. That's really good. Speaking of podcasts and stuff, do any of you have a favorite podcast you're listening to right now? Maybe you can help people out with.
Mine. I listen to Ed Millett every day, and he's just like his podcast is max out, and it's just amazing, and it just gets me like pumped up for the day. And he's an ex-athlete, and of course my son's an athlete, and so I'm all into that whole mentality of just go out and crush it. And so that's my guy right now anyway.
Super cool. He talks about maxing out your life, not just business, which is really hitting home to me right now as we have more time, like Brian said. Ken, you and Brian, any podcasts?
Yeah, I'm listening to a coach, John Cheplek, has some podcasts, and he does a lot of stuff on Facebook. He's got a Facebook page. And I find him very motivating and enlightening. And what he talks about is really connecting with, how to connect with people who are under duress as it relates to kind of what we're in. So it's motivational, but also it's nurturing, and then it helps me keep focused on, what's really important, right, is where everybody's at and kind of what's going on with them, and how, in our roles as leaders, as agents out there, you're leaders with the people that and in your families, is being aware of what's going on in their lives, and then how we can nurture them, support them through this time. And so his stuff's really cool for that. Yeah, John Cheplek, Cheplak.
Cool. I'm gonna add that one. As soon as we get off this. I have a couple comments here that people say, "Oh, I love Ed Millett." Everyone likes Ed. So Brian, where do you fill your head with?
I tell you right now, I've been getting back to the core stuff. There's a lot of things that our core coaching group that I don't take advantage of, that I've found over the last month or so, that I've been doing more of the listening, more of the extra coaching calls that I have, and then all of the different podcasts that they put out on different subjects, whatever it may be. And that's been real good.
Oh, very cool. Brian, you actually alluded to the next subject that we came up with that we're going to talk about, was the financial aspect for agents. We talked a lot about this. As I walk down the hall today, there's an eye doctor next to me, and I don't think it's really hit a lot of people. The eye doctor, and they're closed down. He's walking out. I'm like, "Hey man, how you doing?" He's like, "Oh, we're doing okay, but we did have to shut down." He's like, "Overnight, we had to furlough lay off 400 people overnight because it's in elective surgery." So I think a lot of agents right now have had the question of, hey, what's going to happen? Are we going to be able to close deals? So I think there's a serious financial aspect that we probably need to get a good mindset around as well too, right?
Right.
So I'd love to hear, maybe Brian, start off with you, and we'll go around the horn.
Sure.
The financial aspect for agents from you guys.
Yeah, I mean, for us, we survival number. What is our survival number? What do we need to do in two aspects of our life, right? We have our business and we have our personal. So I've taken my business, and where, maybe my goals were, selling somewhere between 8 and 12 homes a month. What is that number? What does that number look like for us? So if you know your numbers, and just, I'll tell you, my average commission on my sales are right around $12,000. Okay. So how many deals do I need to do to keep my business going? Okay. For some of you, that might be 1 or 2 deals a month, or it might be 3 or 4 deals a month. But how many does that look like? And start working your business around what you need to keep your business going. The other, hopefully you have some savings and some things built up as for your personal, but also know about how many deals do you need to have to be able to bring that additional money over to take care of what you need at home. So I tell my agents here, and I tell people, and I'm getting coached this way, is bring it down to what we need to do, to survive on those two areas.
Nice and simple. Ken, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, those are great thoughts. I would say, when we're going through this kind of situation, there's the 5 stages, right, of grief. We're kind of in that thing now. One of them is denial, is that you have to realize really what is going on, and you have to address it. You have to cover the things that Brian's talking about in your own financial things. We were talking earlier about the market. Sales will be down about 45% this month in terms of listings under contract. That's the effect in May, June. So you have to realize it and address it, and don't say, well, we'll open up a little bit, things should be okay. Maybe you have to realize what's going on. And then what I would say is what we've done is look at all of our expenses, right? And what we found is we had subscriptions that we don't really use, we don't really need. We were spending money that are recurring things, right? That we could get rid of, or that we could change to make ourselves a little bit leaner financially. And so this is a great time just to evaluate, look at all your credit card statements, look at all of your bank statements, things where there's normal withdrawals, to see what's on there that you might be able to adjust. And then I would say, keep in mind that we're all going to be going back to work here. Probably won't, it may not explode out of the gate, but it's going to start picking up, and people will start acting again. So if you weren't doing it in the first couple of weeks, this is the time to really focus on positioning yourself for the increase in opportunity, which means staying close to the people that are in your sphere, making your contacts and your touches, following up with the prospects and the suspects that have been have put things on the back burner while this is going on, and start getting close to them. Not selling. This isn't a time to sell. It's a time to connect and position yourself, and the selling will happen automatically. But that would be my recommendation: is evaluate everything, realize that it's happening, and then really double down on your efforts to position for the relaunch here in a couple of weeks.
I love it. I love it. As a loan officer, and I think realtors fall in the same boat. We can subscription ourselves to death, so to speak, right? You look at your credit card statement, you're like, oh, this is all, Brian's average commission is quite a bit. So, hey, $100 a month for a subscription, they all start adding up. I think that's
I mean, you'll find stuff you go like, I don't even know what that is, right? And,
yes.
Cancel it.
Right.
Exactly. Tina, what are your thoughts around the financial aspect of?
No, I completely agree with what they're saying. We have to remargin our businesses. We need to look at every expense. We have to hold everyone accountable to return on investment. And if they're not working, then you get rid of them, just like they say. I mean, we've had our agents, we've been talking about this since the beginning, like scrub your credit card bills. And we had, agents saying, I saved $1,200, just from getting rid of iTunes and all these things that you don't even need, you didn't even really realize you had. So, right now there's, and I think agents just need to understand, I mean, we just have to do the basics. Like, we need to be hitting our database and just making care calls and loving on people. And that is what is going to eventually, that mind share will eventually become market share. And, all expenses play a part in that. But there are no shiny objects out there right now that is going to get you more sales in the next 30 days. The only thing that's going to get you more market share in the future is what you're doing right now, which is calling your database, touching them, showing them you care. I mean, you could be the best salesperson in all of the Woodlands right now. But you know what? Right now, the best real estate agent in the Woodlands is going to be the one that cares the most. That's it by line.
100%. 100%. I'm playing this game in my mind that I don't want to come out of this. I think we talked about this yesterday. I don't want to come out of this environment and go back to work and then run into one of my VIPs, one of my past clients. I should have picked up the freaking phone and said, dude, how are you doing? Right? I don't want to be that guy. And, at some point we are going to go back to work. So we all talked about on the call, anyone listening in today, one tactic we talked about was just picking out 5 people that that you haven't reached out to, some of your VIP past clients, somebody in your sphere. And a lot of people said, well, I've already called my top 9 or 10. Well, even the second tier, right? Pick up the phone and call me. You don't want to run into them at a little league baseball game or soccer game at HEB after all this and be like, dude, I should have checked on you, because that's showing that you really care, right? So
yeah. Well, Jason, even the people we don't know. I mean, how many people do we have in our databases? We don't even know where they came from, who they are. Like, I have no idea. I mean,
Right.
but still call them anyway and just say, hey, I don't
Yes.
know where I met you, but I still wonder, how are you doing? How are things going? I mean, we're all in this together. I'm sure you're feeling the way I am, but I just want to call and check on you. I mean, I don't really remember where we met, but I met you somewhere.
yeah,
I've got you here in my phone book. You know, that's as simple as that.
Cool. So Brian, tell me a little bit about some of your tactics you're doing, going back to the fundamentals. Our next topic was going through adversity. And I think anytime we're going through an adverse market, working hard and fundamentals, you got to get back to it, right?
Right.
Even from
Yeah.
you know.
Well, a couple of things, Tina hit on it with these phone calls. I mean, I'm trying to do 100 talk tos a week. Okay. 100 talk tos a week. So
Okay.
what I went back to was, and normally in a normal course of a day, you would talk to 10 people, right? Or maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit more, but talk to 20 to 25 people. That's not dials, actual conversations with people. And we went back and we just went back to the first year. Everyone that we bought or sold a house with us in 2019, they got a phone call from us. And then we did 18, okay? And then we did 17, and we just kept going back. Now I have data that goes back a long ways, and it was easy to pull up because we've had it all together. But I'll tell you what, these people are so happy to hear from you. We get in a little bit of a rut sometimes, right? We're not making as many sales. We're not meeting as many people face to face. But I tell you what, the joy that you get from talking and hearing about what their kids are doing, and maybe some kids are still in school or in college and some are back or not. Those contacts have in relationships have just, it's given me so much joy talking to them. So phone calls for me, really, really high. And I'm hitting those numbers, 80 to 100 talk tos a week. And then also personal notes, where normally our program is we send 10 personal notes a week. We've doubled that to 20, 25. So a lot of the people that I talk with, they send a small little note and send it to them. I think Ken had mentioned, right, we're not going to be making a ton of sales right now. It's the stuff that we're doing now that people are going to remember this later, and it's going to help us get through this time as well. So it's a win-win.
Cool. I love it. Ken, what about you? Some of the fundamentals.
Yeah, you guys are awesome. I think Tina and Brian, you both hit it on the head. It's like 5 a day is not going to cut it, right? You're only going to talk to a few people.
Yeah.
You got to talk to everybody that you have. So, and you time block for this. This is the thing. You have a good idea. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that. You don't do it. You feel bad about it. You've got to time block and then make these calls, 40-minute time blocks, and then maybe one in the afternoon. And in times of isolation and separation, disconnection, right? What I'm finding, and I'm sure you're finding the same thing, is when you talk to people, normally it'd just be a 2 or 3 minute phone call, but you end up talking to someone for 30 minutes. And you never get the opportunity to normally do that. So not only is it good for them, right? It makes them feel good. That's, they're isolated and all that, but you feel good, right? So it also empowers you. So this is definitely the time to double down on those conversations. And it doesn't have to be anything complicated. Just thinking about you. I hope you guys are well. Is anything I can do for you? Can't wait to finish. That's good. And then I'm going to give you another idea that I would recommend in tandem with this. And I've been doing this, and I know some team members have been doing this, and it works great. So I'm in a time block to make the calls. Maybe if I have 100 people or 200 or 300 people, I start at the top and I start calling down, right? Call your most important people first. But then what I'm going to do is every day I'm going to send maybe, and this will take you a 45-minute time block easy, maybe 10 or 15 video text messages, right? So I get my phone out and I start at the opposite end that I'm making phone calls, right? So ideally when I'm done, everybody will have a phone call and they'll get a video text message. The reason I'm doing the video text message is because I can text somebody, I can write them an email, but it's flat, it's lifeless, it's toneless, right? What I want to do is get my phone out and just top in, hey, Brian and Tina, how are you guys doing? I'm thinking about you. I hope you're well. And if there's anything to do for you, let me know. Look forward to seeing you on the other side. You guys take care. Tell the kids I said hi. Send. Record, send, record, send, record, send, record, send. Just like that. And again, the connection, they see your tone, they see your body language, they see your sincerity, they know what you're about, you're reaching out, they can get a little smile on their face, you made their day, and it's fast and easy and simple and positive, along with the phone calls. Got to do both. Super powerful. Start today. Time block. Do it.
I love what you said, Ken, that you do the video and you do it and you call them by name. Like I
Yes.
think what we got into is a big rut, honestly, is doing send out cards or doing stuff like that's mass, right? As opposed to Brian's talking about a handwritten phone call. Tina's talking about picking up the phone. Ken, you're not just sending a video out. It's a personalized video that says, hey, Brian and Tina.
It's direct, right to them, right to their phone. They pick it up. There you are. 30 seconds, right? And
I just think people in this day and time, they just want transparency and they want authenticity. They want to know that when I talk to Jason, that I'm really talking to Jason. I'm not talking to some figurehead or some pretend Jason. I'm talking to the real guy. And I think everyone longs for that. And I think for a long time, we kind of got away from that. And so I love that, you know, and I think I told you guys this morning, I love being on Zoom calls because you can't really hide on a Zoom call, right? You can't, you don't really get to hide. Right. So, and I love that about this kind of platform is because we don't get to hide behind that. I mean, we are who we are on it, and you kind of get to figure out who's where in their lives by seeing how they show up.
Well, you kind of hit the nail on the head there as far as what I want to talk about next, which is working hard, right? On a Zoom call, you can figure out real fast who just woke up. Like if you have a Zoom call at 9:30 and their hair's all white, like, oh, they just roll out of bed. Tell me about a time that you went through some adversity, and maybe not now, but maybe it was in 2010, maybe it was during 9/11, maybe it was during a down market. I think agents and some people discredit even pro athletes how hard you have to work in this environment, right? Like it's not, and some people haven't even been through this environment yet. They've only been a realtor maybe 6 or 7 years. So it's quite frankly the last 6 or 7 years, Ken, it's been pretty good. Right, it's been pretty good the last 6 or 7 years.
Been roll out pretty good for 30 years there in the Woodlands, man.
Yeah,
even when it's been crappy, it's been good.
You can roll out of your bed at, in the last 5 years, and a deal will fall in your lap. So to talk a little bit about, I heard this saying. It was an entrepreneur thing, on entrepreneurship, and they said, you know what? When I went for it, right, which I think in this market you have to go for it. They consider it life or death. Like I'm either going to make it or I'm not, but I'm going all in. I'm going to work off. If I'm going to bet on somebody, I'm going to bet on myself. Right. So, but you guys talk
about boat, baby, burn the boat. It's called burn the boats
and the bridges.
You guys have kind of talked about it with all the thank you cards, but talk about the mentality of having hard work in this environment.
Yeah. But are you?
Go ahead, Ken. Go ahead.
No, I didn't know. I didn't quite hear it. Go ahead, but then I'll chime in later.
Yeah, I was going to say, I remember back in 2008 when things, really slowed down. I'll put a little shout out to, I don't know if he's on the call or not, Ivan Arjona. He's done he has a great business, and he and I, he started his career with me. Okay. And in 2008, there wasn't anything going on. It was super, it was super slow. And I remember we had a couple of listings over in East Shore, and I said, look, we're not going to be in the office. Okay. A little different right now, right? We have to be in the office or be at home, but we went out and we did a open house at one home, and we did it 7 days a week. So this was before we had, we had a little hot spot. We had a card table. We put a little black tablecloth over the top of it. Had 4 chairs. We had our laptop and printers weren't even. We didn't have Bluetooth back then. We had to plug in the printer if we wanted to print something out. So we were out there, and we just, had the flag open that hey, we're open house. So how many people can we meet? How many contacts? And sales is a contact sport, right? So how many people can we see? Now we're not going to be able to see them face to face now, but the Zoom calls, the phone calls, the video, the handwritten notes. I think that's is now what we were doing back then in 2008 with the open houses, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Tina, hard work in this environment or getting through this?
Hey, it's all about hard work. I mean, no one's getting by with a free ride right now. Everyone is going to have to earn what they're going to get in the future, and they're going to earn it by doing the activities it requires. And that's calling your sphere. That's getting up, dressing up, and showing up. I mean, it's all of those things in combination. And, when you talk about adversity, I remember when I first I remember in 2011, I'd been in real estate a year. I think I had sold 2 houses. I was no rookie of the year. I mean, I don't even know how I am where I am right now. If you'd asked me in 2010 if I would be running the Keller Williams office in the Woodlands, I was like, what are you talking about? I would have never thought it in a million years. But the thing is, I had people who came behind me. I mean, I literally had lunch with Teresa Sarton. I don't know if she's out there or not, but I had lunch with Teresa Sarton. I just met her. And I was like, I think I'm going to quit. I don't think I'm cut out for this. And she's like, what are you talking about? And I was like, I mean, I've only got a couple of sales. And she's like, well, are you serious about it? And that really hit me because I wasn't really serious about it. My kids were senior in high school. My son was a baseball star. I was doing mom stuff still. I was in a mom mentality, and I wasn't in a real estate agent mentality. And it's 2 different things. If you're going to be an agent, you got to go be an agent.
Right.
And it's hard to be all of it. We know that. And so when she said that to me, it just struck me like, you know what? I really haven't given this a chance. And so I just really just put my head down and just went at it hard. And in 2011, the market wasn't great. I mean, I was freaking scampering for everything I could get, taking anything I could get. I mean, horrible listings, it didn't matter. Just give me something.
Get it.
And I just grinded my teeth on that. And, 4 years later, I was selling 50 houses in 1 year, and then went into a leadership role, which I wound up loving because I love agents. I love helping them. I love helping them through times just like this. And so it just made a difference in my life. And I just feel like, gosh, if I had quit all those years ago, where would I be right now? I definitely wouldn't be here with all you good looking guys. I can say that. But, you know what I mean?
Don't flirt with Brian like that. Don't flirt with Brian like that.
No.
I've never been called that before. Can I get that one? Hey,
But what I'm saying is, I mean, we just have to find people. We have to find the right people, not anybody, but you have to find the right people who believe in you, who can push you, who can guide you, who can lead you. And if you can find those people in your life, if you might be the most struggling agent in the world right now, you may have been an agent that's used to producing 20 million, and right now you don't see anything in your pipeline. I mean, because they're out there too. And so who are those people for you? Who is that person that you can lean on and count on to pull you through this? And that's where it is.
I like that. I like that. Ken,
very good.
so what I kind of gather from all of you is you're all pretty self-confident. All right. You're hard workers, you're self-confident. And Tina, I think you hit the nail on the head. You got to surround yourself. You are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, right? But Ken, will you just touch a little bit about believing in yourself, right? Just believing, because I think I could surround myself with a lot of people, right? But if I don't believe in myself in this, I had an old mentor tell me one time, when we started the branch, I was like, man, I don't know if I want to do it. Should I go for it? Should I not? This and that. And he's like, dude, if you're going to believe in anybody, wouldn't you believe in yourself? Because you could control your hard work and that type of stuff. Ken, tell us about self-belief and how that helps you get through an environment like this.
Well, pretty much you just have to be like super smart and awesome. I will say this. Listening to you guys, I'm getting all fired up, right? I'm like, oh my God, I got to get going here. Right? It's pretty good. I will say that I struggle, and we probably all do. We've all heard of the imposter syndrome, right? You're successful, you're out there, but I have self-doubts every day. Right. About, is this working? Do I know what the hell I'm doing? Am I going to make it? Is anyone ever going to believe in me, let alone believe in myself? And so one is an awareness, right? An awareness that you're going to have that feeling. And then it's important, Tina, Brian both touched on it, is that you have to have people in your life that you can go to that you might express that to, right? Hey, I don't know, and then they'll tell you, I believe in you. No, you're not seeing it correctly. This is really, what's going on. And so you have to surround people that also believe in you. I think that's important. And it's a challenge. If you're not, you have to find them outside, sometimes in the family, and it's hard, right? Because of different things. So you have to find them outside, people, your colleagues that you work with, your leaders as well. And then you have to feed your soul, and you have to feed your mind, and you have to feed your energy with some self-care. And we were talking about podcasts and books exercise and yoga and meditation. You have to do not have to do them all at the same time, but excuse me, you have to consider these things. And if we look at other professions, let's take professional athletes who have to perform at a high level all the time, right? We see them on the court, looks really easy. And then sometimes we get a look into the back end, right? And they have sports psychologists, they have special trainers, they got dietitians, and everybody working to help them perform. And I think that's what we need. We need people, you surround yourself with people who can empower you and who also believe in you. And then you have to feed your mind. And then you have to burn your boats and bridges. Don't have a choice, right? It's a do or die. You know, that's that. And then another thing that's helpful for me is what would someone else do, right? What would they do? Someone that you look up to, someone that you admire or appreciate, you know, and like, what would Tina do in this situation, right? I'm gonna be Tina. Well, be Tina, right? Be Brian, right? Be Jason. Be whoever it is to get that mindset straight. When you're not sure what to do, it's like, well, what would they do? I'm going to be them. Go do that.
Just go.
That's what I recommend.
So, Ken, you brought this up, and I'd like to hear all your thoughts on this. We talked about before we got on, you know, adapting and pivoting to the new virtual world that we live in, right? So, a lot of this is fundamentals, and getting back to it. I super encourage everyone as we come out of the corona to continue doing these fundamentals. But let's talk a little bit about pivoting, right? Pivoting with the new technology, the new virtual age. A lot of us are reinventing ourselves. Never in a million years would I think I'd be on a live stream broadcast on Facebook, and I just went for it. So let's just go and do it. Let's help some people out. So Ken, you want to touch a little bit about embracing the new virtual world and just pass it around?
Sure. I'll go kind of quick here. I will say this, though. When I was thinking about this meeting yesterday, what went through my mind was, what am I going to wear to the meeting, right? Because for a minute, I thought, like, I'm going to go somewhere and there's going to be a group of people. And the new reality is, is this. So this is what I would say about the pivot. We're seeing it around us. It's a natural tendency to like, oh, I don't want to learn that, or geez, why do I, or I'm not tech savvy. I'm not this, I'm not that. You've got to eliminate that. You have to just see it for what it is, right? And I need to embrace that. I need to embrace that. I'm gonna, HAR has virtual open houses. They're announcing all that. It's like, oh no, go get it. That's an advantage, right? That's a market advantage for you. Doing the Zoom meetings, learning how to do it is an advantage for you. Sending text and videos is an advantage. Doing virtual tours is a market. So what's happening is the market has given us all a gift. It's created a next level advantage for adopters who will take the time and have the right attitude to embrace the new things, and you'll leave everybody else in the dust. Everybody who's not on this call, poor them, too bad. But you and I and the rest of us, we're going to take off. So see it as an advantage. How can I use this to my advantage? Because there'll be plenty of people who will not embrace what's happening, and you'll leave them behind. And it's going to happen fast and big.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest fear as we come out of this, and I don't come out adapting. That I'm doing it the way I've done it for the last 18 years, right? Brian, you want to touch a little bit on embracing the new virtual world and reinventing yourself, if you will?
No, I like it. I mean, I like what Ken said. I mean, I think there's a ton of opportunity, and I think sometimes with us that struggle, I struggle with it sometimes too, but you get pushed into things sometimes, right? And a lot of good's going to be able to come out of this. And, I don't do a lot of social media stuff. I'm older than you guys. I haven't really, be honest with you, I haven't embraced that social media part as much as some of the other agents and talent out there. And I'll tell you what, we're working on it now. We've actually hired a couple people over just the last 3.5, 4 weeks or so. I see a great opportunity for us in my own personal business to kind of elevate that. So I'm excited about it.
Cool. Tina?
Well, I mean, we all can agree our world has changed forever. I mean, we're never going back to being what we were. And in our business, our business is a progressive, changing business. It's always changing. I mean, some people don't really want to move toward change, but it is what it is. I mean, we're going to continue having virtual open houses. We're going to continue having virtual showings. We're going to continue having Zoom meetings, even once this is long gone, because we've stepped into a new a new world. We stepped in a new way that we're going to do business. And, you know, I just think continuing to align ourselves with people who are moving forward that way, we're going to have these technologies in place, because I think the consumer is going to want it.
Yes,
Whether we want to move forward or not, the consumer is going to want it. And if you are the agent who is tech savvy, tech enabled, and you can pivot once this is over and hit the ground, you're going to be the one that's going to take the market share. That is the reality. That's the world we live in today. And if you're sitting there listening right now and you're saying, oh, well, I'm just going to go back to doing it the way I used to, you will get left behind. We're just not in that world anymore.
I love that. I love that. Thinking about what does the client want, or what's the client going to want going forward. And you're 100% right. You're 100%
Yeah.
right.
One of the things,
Go ahead.
excuse me. Yeah. One of the things we're going to see with HAR and Zillow and the others is these big banners, virtual tours on the listings, right? So shortly, if you don't have a virtual tour, that's not some part of your marketing package and so on. Everybody that goes online and looks at any property is going to see gigantic banners. And if you're not part of that, your sellers aren't going to choose you, or the sellers are going to leave you. And so that's like a new natural. And to kind of tie all that in for me is, so this is a destiny accelerator, right? This event is a destiny accelerator that if you are going to be successful and you're that person, this is going to position you to really take off, right? If you were someone kind of lagging and not doing, kind of resisting, right, and dragging your feet, it's going to accelerate your destiny as well, which will be to the downward side, right? So this is going to speed everything up for everybody. It just depends on what side of the coin you're on.
Yeah, 100%. Brian?
Be good. Yeah, I think so too. I mean, I'm in agreement. You guys are hitting on all the right stuff. I want to be on the right side of the coin. So.
Yeah, my biggest thing, like I said, we left behind with all that stuff. So, and the exciting part of it is, when you think about this, you know, a lot of great companies have started during down markets, right? The next big mega agent is starting right now. That might be the youngster that's already doing this type of stuff.
Well, you know what they say, Jason? They say all boats float with the rising tide.
There you go. Right.
There you go.
I remember coming out here to the Woodlands in 2008, and it was just like, everyone was like, "You're crazy! Like the market's down." And there's always, like Ken's saying, there's always so much opportunity to set yourself apart by doing all these tactics, right? So I just want you to touch maybe really briefly, and then I'll go into some questions real fast for the next 5-10 minutes, because we have some good questions on the comments here. But just tell me real fast, you guys have touched on it, but tell me how coaching or mentorship has helped you in your career, whether you're coaching and mentoring or you're getting coached and mentored. I've been coached and mentored for the past 12 years, and it completely changed my life and my trajectory. Ken, you want to start off?
Yeah, I would say for me, most of my coaching for myself has been through reading, right? Reading books, audio books and things like that about what to do. I haven't really participated in that. I've had some coaching with John Cheplak, who I mentioned, or their CHEPLAK recently, which is very powerful. And I will probably pursue personal coaching as a result of my experience there. But I will go on to say, as a coach in our positions, is that the value of having someone that you can call on who can be honest with you, but and help you be accountable to yourself is brilliant. And we know this is a universal law. If you get good coaching, you will succeed at a higher level, period, in a conversation. It's been that way for centuries.
Even like Michael Jordan, the top of the top athletes, even Kobe, all those guys had coaches. Tina, you said something yesterday that made me laugh. And you talked about your BS meter for a mentor or coaching and stuff like that. Will you talk a little bit about that?
My BS meter?
Yeah. Having someone put you in check a little bit. Say, hey, I'm calling you in your
Well,
BS.
yeah.
Right.
I mean, I've been fortunate enough to work with a company that we have a coaching program, and I started out in that. I've been a coach myself. I still coach agents every day. That's part of our roles as leaders. And one of the things is you can tell when you are holding people accountable, whether they're BSing you or not. You already know. And so a coach helps you work on your business instead of in your business, because we're always working on our business. We're getting more leads. We're doing this. But are we really running a business? And so your coach puts you in line with actually being the CEO of your business. like running your business like a business. And so you got to have accountability checks in that. And we all know agents who have coaches make more money, period. They generally make more money. And I would just say right now, if you don't have a coach and you don't have that accountability and you don't have structure and you don't know how to time block and you don't know how to remargin your business, then maybe it's time to get a coach or a mentor, because it's vitally important right now to have those things in place.
Well, what I hear from all of you is be a lifetime learner. That's what Ken's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Pick up the book, listen to the podcast, always be always work in your craft, if you will. Brian, mentorship and coaching with you, how's it helped you out?
Gosh, it's changed my life. I mean, with me, I would go back and I look, there's a difference between making a lot of money in real estate and having a real estate business. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people on this call, they make a lot of money, a lot more money than they probably should make. Right. And I'm not kidding you. I mean, you look at these, these top producers or people, this industry, there's tons and tons of opportunity. And you know what? I've been really blessed with it over the years. And I tell you, when I first started coaching, I was embarrassed of how much opportunity I had and maybe what little I've done with it. And I've just been in coaching for the last 5 or 6 years. It's changed my life, because not only, I made a little bit of money in my career, but now I have a real estate business. I know what to work on, not just in my business, but in my personal life, my personal life, my spiritual, my family, my marriage. Go seek wise counsel, right? So, and I think that's what it is. Whether it's people like you guys or this forum, what can we learn from everybody? And Jason, I'll give another shout out to him. He's the guy that came in as a lender for me. And I already had a lender. I've been doing this for a long time. I already had a lender. But when Jason came in, he added a lot of value to my business, because he helped me be a better businessman, right? He introduced me to people that could help me more in my business and in my personal life. And so I would say to anybody, whatever coaching program it is, go find that. You'll have a better business, you have a better life, and you'll have better people surrounding you.
Cool, great.
Couldn't agree more.
Awesome. Yeah. So make sure I'm taking notes as I go. This is such good stuff. Okay. So I'm going to open up for some questions here. Okay. So these are some questions that have come in. We've had a great turnout, over 100 people tuning in throughout pretty much the whole hour here.
Nice.
But I have a question here. It was a really good one. What would you tell a buyer right now who may be hesitant to buy? I hear this a lot from agents right now. Hey, my clients are saying, hey, should we even be looking in the market right now? Should we wait? What's going on? When's the best time to buy and sell?
I'd love to answer that one. The best time to sell a house is when you're ready to sell a house, right? In this market, I think you just at any time get people all the time that come and say, well, when is the best time? If you're ready to move, now is the best time to sell your house. And these buyers right now, if for the right situation for people, if you have a good, steady job, this could be one of the best times. We have sellers that need to sell their house. Jason, you've touched on, mortgage stuff. The rates are historically low. It could be a great time to purchase. So the answer is when you're ready to sell and when you're ready to buy.
Well, isn't that answer even true when the market's really good? If you're not really ready to sell and you price your house out of the market, is it really the right time to sell at that point even? I mean, no. I don't know. What do you think, Tina?
Right.
No, it's not. I mean, you have to be motivated. And, it's not, I don't think in this day and age or at this time during this pandemic that you can just be out there just daisically looking or wanting to sell. I mean, this is serious times. No one wants you coming in their home if you're not really serious about buying it right now, or, and vice versa. So I just think, everything has to be, you have to pre-qualify and like Brian said, if you're not ready, you're not ready. It's just, I think what he said was excellent. I don't really have much to add. I think I'd say the same thing.
Cool.
Yeah.
Here's another question. Go ahead, Brian.
I was just going to say, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the people that are wanting to put their house on the market right now and they really want to sell their home, they're going through with it. They're doing it.
Yeah.
We have listings coming on, and I'll say this, the last 3 or 4 buyers that we've worked with, in the last, month or so, they've all made offers. So there's the people that are out there and want to meet you at a house and go look at it. They've been serious. So
Yeah.
be ready, make those calls,
Mhm.
and listen for the opportunity.
Cool. I like it. So here's another question from the audience. What books do you recommend? Is there any books that you're currently reading that you recommend reading? Maybe your favorite.
I'll do that. I'll tell you which one I'm reading right here. If you haven't read this, read it. We actually have a Facebook group, and it's 60,000 people in it, and we're all going through shift. And this is a book that basically talks about how you run a business through a shifting market.
Cool.
I mean, everyone should be reading this. It's just, it will just give you tactics. It'll help you with mindset. And then, like I said, the Facebook group is awesome. Every morning there's a 30-minute segment out of the book. And if you want to get educated on how to get your business going and be ready to pivot once this thing is over and hit it hard, that's one of the best ones I'm reading right now.
Right, great question. Any other books, Brian, that you guys recommend real fast?
Yeah, I'll recommend two. We had a book club where we kind of went over this book, but it's very powerful. It is something that will benefit every aspect of your life, not only personally, but professionally, in relationships and friendships and so on. And that is the book, Negotiate as If Your Life Depended on It. And so it's an awesome book on just how to work with people. And then I'm reading a book now, and this has to do with what I struggle with is how do I create new habits? How do I do the things that I know I should do that I don't do? And it's called Atomic Habits, How to Create Atomic Habits. And so it goes into how the mind works and why we procrastinate on things, and then how we can basically life hack things to help us create momentum, which creates new habits to do the things that we know that we need to do, but we don't get them done. So those are two that I would recommend.
I love it. I love it. Brian?
Nice. Yeah. One of the books that read Lead for God's Sake. Okay. Really good book. I think that's a good read. And then something, in this time, maybe you don't want to get into a bigger book, but learning about a business, Raving Fans, right? And that's a
good one.
Classic.
Customer service, the classic. And some of these books we keep reading over and, over. I think in our coaching, we just got done reading again, the 5 love languages. We talk about relationships.
That's
right?
fabulous. Yes.
How many times have we read that book? Every time I read it, I get something out of it. It'll help you with your agents, with your clients, in your marriage, your kids. So,
cool.
Those are three real good.
I love it. One that I like. Go ahead, Tina.
I was going to say, I've got one more that I love giving agents, and it's called Exactly What to Say to Close the Deal. And it's just full of different scripts and what you can say to clients. And I use these on my kids. So, they like actually work. And it's almost like a language. I want to try some of my
3-year-old. I don't know.
It's almost like a language of sales, but you see, I just have it all like, I just think it's just a great guide. It's kind of like a guide. Like, cool. You've got this situation and you don't really know what to say. It just gives you like 7 things. Just start right here. Bam, bam, bam. So it's really cool.
I got one book I'll throw out there called The Go-Giver. The Go-Giver, 7 levels to stratospheric success. It's actually our customer service manual here at Cherry Creek.
That's a great one.
Everyone reads it.
That's a good one. I'll share a comment about what Brian said about rereading a book. Is my experience has been, and I think it's all of ours, is that when I read something today, I'm reading it from my today perspective, right? And when I read it 3 years ago, I was reading it from that perspective. So these classics, when we go and revisit them, we get all new information and perspective because we're different people. Right. And they're classics for a reason because they're universal laws in those books.
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
So very cool. So we have some other questions coming in. So what I'll do is let's wrap this up. I want to make sure everyone gets out of the top of the hour, respect everyone's time. So if you have a question that hasn't been answered, I encourage you guys that are on this video call to reach out to either Ken, Brian, or Tina. Ken, where does the audience find you? If they have follow-up questions, where do they find you, Ken?
Yeah, ken.brand@compass.com. You can always Google me and there'll be stuff there where you can figure out where I am. Love to chat with anybody that's interested in chatting.
Cool. Perfect. Brian.
Yeah, Brian@brianschweiker.com. Would love to do the same. Any questions, comments, or anything I could help with, I'd love to hear from you.
Cool. Perfect. Miss Tina Brickhouse, where do they find you at these days?
Well, you can find me on Instagram. I'm at She's a Brick with a Z. I'm also at tbrickhouse@kw.com. And you can always find me on Facebook. So I'm in all those things. Brian, I can teach you some lessons if you want to do a little social media class on the
I
side.
love it.
Let me know.
I like it.
I love it.
I like it. I
I'm
like
in.
it. Very cool. So, so where you can find me. So, again, Cherry Creek Mortgage. A shout out to all of our loan officers here. We don't have many, but we have, I feel, the best loan officers in the area. And you can find us at cherrycreekwoodlands.com as our website. And a big shout out to all the LOs that invited guests today and all that type of stuff. It's some really good people. So I'll leave you with this. I'm super honored to do this with you guys. I tell you what, I took so many notes. I think I'm going to take this back, Ken, and just, I mean, it's going to help me pivot through this, through what we're going through. And if anything, you guys inspire me to keep learning, to keep grinding, to just keep doing what you're supposed to be doing. Right. And I think what's cool is this community, even though sometimes we're friendly competitors, we can all pull together and get through this together. And at the end of the day, we're in an industry that we can really help people, right? That we can really help people. And people that might need to sell their house because they lost their job. Maybe they need to buy a new house. People are still going to be having babies, getting divorced, downsizing, having more kids. And so there'll always be moving houses, and we're here to help them out in any way, shape, or form. So guys, I'll leave you with a little bit of our Bon Jovi, Live on a Prayer. I feel much better that I'll have to live on a prayer because I have you guys in the family. So thank you so much. We're going to try to do this again probably in a month or so. So if you have any feedback for us on the podcast, video podcast, please reach out to me at jason@ccmclending.com. All right, guys, have a great week.
Thanks, man.
Good luck on the
Appreciate it.
Guys.
Love you guys. All right.
Yeah, you know it. Bye.
Thanks.